Okay everyone, now that you've gotten all the information on the packages, the upgrades, the media stuff, now we get into the fun stuff, which is the actual flight, the fundamentals, the training. So really want you to pay attention on this one. You're gonna learn all the important stuff on how to fly the jetpack and the jetboard to give you a chance to decide which device is right for you, or you can upgrade and actually fly both during your flight. Let's get it started.
Our jetpack system is comprised of a carbon fiber jetpack and an industrial 40-foot hose that attaches to a standard jet ski, which acts as the power source for the jetpack. The engine pumps up to 1,000 gallons of water per minute up the hose to the pack to provide the propulsion to get you into the air. You'll be strapped securely into the jetpack with a 5-point safety harness, which utilizes a quick release system to allow you to instantly release the straps, depending on the harness system. Since the pack is buoyant, in case of an emergency, you can unbuckle and leave the pack in the water, where it will float until it's picked up by one of our team members. To start your flight, you'll walk out to chest-deep water and turn so you're parallel to the beach to allow the instructor to get a good profile view. At that point, you'll want both hands on the control arms and both arms at shoulder level, which we call neutral or starting position. To ensure you're comfortable in the water and you're able to get yourself upright in the pack, we'll often do a quick swim test, where we'll have you let go of the control arms to see how the pack pushes you forward. To get your face back out of the water, you simply need to grab the control arms, raise your arms to shoulder level, and do a bicycle kick with your legs. Another way to get upright in the water is to grab the control arms and roll to the right or left, which will bring you to a sitting position in the pack. For your first flight, your instructor will be controlling the throttle for you via the jet ski throttle system, which means he'll be throttling you up and throttling you down. Once the engine is started, you'll want the bottom of the control arms right at water level, and as the instructor throttles you up, you'll slowly bring the control arms down together, keeping them level and right above the surface of the water. If one of the control arms drops, it will force you into a sharp turn toward the pod, and the instructor will have to throttle you down to prevent possible impact. The most important thing with initial movement is keeping the control arms level. If you let the control arms drop below the surface of the water, it's going to bring your head underwater. Alternatively, if you raise the control arms too high above the water, you won't be able to gain forward momentum, which is very unstable. Once you understand the basics of getting started, you can get into the air very quickly. You can see the proper starting sequence here, with the arms level, slowly coming down together as the throttle is increased. While the control arms can move independently, it's very important for you to keep them as level as possible, even with steering. You can practice steering by looking left and right. It is important to note that when you make a turn, you need to correct out of it to avoid turning too sharply and coming back toward the pod. If you find yourself turning one direction on initial startup, you can raise that control arm to get yourself back on a straight line. Keeping yourself going straight is the best way to get yourself started. For your first flight, you want to avoid hovering, which occurs when you let the control arms go up too high, causing a loss in forward momentum. From a hover, it is very easy to go into an unintentional backflip or sharp turn toward the pod. Colliding with the pod is the main thing we want to avoid. If the instructor sees you slowing your speed and nearing a hover, he or she will instruct you to bring the arms down to regain good forward momentum. If the hover is not corrected, the instructor will have to kill the throttle and drop you in the water. Once you've mastered the basics, you can start having some fun with more advanced maneuvers. Keep the arms nice and stable, with your feet right at water level, and soon you'll be walking on water. Climb the invisible staircase as the instructor throttles you up to do a perfect stairway to heaven. If you demonstrate good controlled turns, the instructor may give you the chance to do some donut turns, which you'll pivot off the hose as you chase the pod around in circles. An underwater submarine is one of our most popular and exciting tricks. When the instructor counts to 3, quickly drop your arms to waist level to dive under the water. Hold it for 3 seconds and bring the arms back up to do a dramatic submarine, complete with a rooster tail on entry. This is just the beginning of many tricks you can do with Jetpack America. See you in the sky.
The JetBlade system is comprised of 2 independent swiveling base plates with wakeboard-style boots, which allow the pilot to direct the jets of water coming from the sides of the feet to control steering, spins, and direction. Once you're strapped in, we'll pull you out to a safe depth to start you up. You'll immediately notice that everything floats. Not only is your life jacket buoyant, so is the JetBlade. Once at the correct depth, you'll need to roll over onto your stomach before you begin. Roll your upper body over first, and then follow by rolling your lower body. After the engine is started, your instructor will talk to you through your walkie-talkie helmet and slowly increase the throttle to get you moving. You'll want to start in the Superman position, which is done by locking your knees and arching your back slightly to keep your face out of the water. No need to swim, just let the jets push you forward. The next step is practicing S-turns. First, by simply looking and leaning in the direction you'd like to go, and then by bending one knee and lifting that foot. If you lift your right foot, you'll turn left, and if you lift your left foot, you'll turn right. You'll be surprised by just how easy it is to go in the direction you want to go. Once you're comfortable with turns, the instructor will increase your throttle slightly so that you can work on dolphin dives. You'll want to get comfortable with diving forward, because once you get in the air, if you ever feel unstable, you'll want to dive forward instead of going back toward the jet ski. To do a dolphin dive, bend your knees and let your feet come directly beneath you. Then, straighten your legs and push down with your feet slightly. As you rise up, lean your upper body forward and dive as though you're diving into a pool. Once underwater, immediately arch your back and straighten your legs to come back out of the water into the Superman position. Once you demonstrate controlled dolphin dives, it will be time to stand up and get flying. To stand up, bring your feet underneath you and get the board flat, parallel with the surface of the water. As soon as your feet are flat, lock your knees and stand up without pushing down on or lifting your toes. Standing up should be a fairly quick but fluid motion. To stay stable in the air initially, try to maintain a straight line between your head and your feet. The board should be flat, with your weight evenly balanced on the arch of the foot, not leaning forwards or backwards. Here are a few mistakes commonly made by first-timers and how to fix them so that you can get up and flying quickly. When standing up, it is natural to bend at the knees if losing altitude, which will cause you to splash down in the water. Keeping your knees locked is one of the main keys to getting into the air quickly. Should you ever find yourself losing altitude, this is usually an indication that your toes are too low. By raising your toes slightly, you'll stop the descent. When feeling unstable, the natural reaction is to wave your arms in an attempt to maintain your balance. However, this throws your body out of axis and actually makes it more difficult to maintain stable flight. Keep your hands on your life vest in order to keep the proper vertical axis. As they rise out of the water, many first-time flyers look down. Your body will follow your head, and by looking down you'll begin to lean, possibly causing a fall. Keep your eyes on the horizon, and this will help you to maintain your balance. At the beginning of your flight, you'll want to always maintain a small amount of forward momentum. Hovering is when you stop moving forward entirely, and it is very easy to begin moving backwards or fall towards the jet ski from this position. If the instructor sees you hovering for too long or moving backwards, he or she will instruct you to bring your toes down slightly to regain a small amount of forward momentum. If the hover or backwards movement is not corrected, the instructor will have to kill the throttle and drop you in the water. Remember, if you ever feel unstable and are unable to recover, just dive forward like you practiced at the beginning of your flight. It may feel natural to bend your knees or sit down, but not only does diving forward allow you to recover quickly and get back to flying, it looks good too. Once you've mastered the basics, you can start having some fun with more advanced maneuvers. Try multiple dolphin dives, or dive from higher out of the water. Swimming is a fun trick that looks great too. Pretend like you're swimming quickly as the instructor throttles you up. Practice getting comfortable in a hover, and then you'll be able to do a yaw turn. From the hover, ensure that the hose is beneath you, and lift one toe while you push the other down. Make sure you keep the hose directly underneath you, as wide turns will cause the hose to lay over itself, temporarily restricting the flow of water. You want to spin around the axis of the hose, keeping the hose vertical. Once you get these down, underwater spins will be a breeze. Start linking these tricks together to show off your style.
Okay everyone, there you have it. You are all trained up and ready to fly. Only 2 more things to do. At this point, number 1, it is your online waivers. You can click the link right here to access the online waiver. You and everyone who's flying needs to fill that out before you arrive for your flight. Number 2, if you forgot to purchase any upgrades, add-ons, media packages, you can do that now. Click the link right here, access that information. Other than that, let's go have some fun. Thanks again for flying with Jetpack America. See you in the sky.